A few months ago, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and it was a pretty normal one by our standards, until he said this: "Your life is just a bunch of side quests." We were bored, we were talking about our lives, and when he said that, it left me speechless. It really hit me, and I didn't know what to say. And I thought about it throughout that day, all throughout that night, up to right here, right now. To me, this sort of thing can be split up into two different categories: things that you like and things that you like that you do. And the list of things that I like is pretty long to say the least, but a brief overview would include film, television, sci fi, IT, technology, space exploration, politics, YouTube, fiction, and law. And that's just a few things that fit into that first category. They all interest me in some way, but I don't actively participate in them. The list of things that I'm interested in and do is also quite long, the most notable being photography, videography, music, leathercraft, graphic design, camping, overlanding, and my job is a pretty big one too. There's a lot more than this in both categories, but the main thing to take away from this is that a lot of things in the world interest me, and some of those things I actively do. And although these lists seem to be quite extensive, I've never really found my thing. And I think that's what my mate was talking about, where he compared my entire life to a bunch of side quests. So, my main quest, if you want to call it that, has always been something that sort of eluded me. I've always wanted to have that one big thing that I invest all of my time and effort into, that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy, that I'm good at. But I guess I've just never really made a solid decision on that. And I think the reason that I've never been able to make that decision is threefold. Number one, fear. I never really knew what I wanted to do with my life in school. I'm sure, like many other people, I had lots of ideas, but struggled to decide on that one specific thing. And to be quite honest with you, I still don't really know now. I studied music straight after school for 2 years and completely left that world to join another, which I'm still doing to this day. I know that I didn't want to be a musician after growing up around my parents, who are both professional musicians, and seeing how much, although they love their job, they struggle financially. And with the amount of kids that they had, it wasn't something that I really wanted for myself. I have too many little sisters. A big part of me also wanted to do something that genuinely mattered. Yeah, I love drumming. I think it's great. And I wasn't bad at it, but I couldn't really visualize myself doing that full time, as it didn't have a net positive effect on other people. I don't know. It sounds pretentious. It really does. But I always thought that doing something that actually mattered on a bigger scale was attractive to me, I guess. I know it sounds pretentious. Maybe it is. I am trying not to be. Oh, but I totally am failing. Number two, imposter syndrome. I think I've always felt a strong sense of imposter syndrome ever since I was little, and especially when I'm doing something new. And I feel a lot of people will probably get that way too when they're trying out something that they've never done before. I think a big part of it comes from me just caring far too much about what other people think. And I'd always get that in the past. Like when I was younger and I was doing music, I'd come across drummers who were better than me. Or when I was starting to learn photography and I'd come across another photographer who was a lot better than I was at the time. I think growing up though, and especially doing the job that I do now, sort of made me realize that the whole imposter syndrome side of doing something that you love is really dumb. When you come across people who are better than you at your thing, you should take that as an opportunity to learn from them, to collaborate, and to ultimately get better. And where you might be the kind of person that I used to be that gets upset or jealous because somebody's a lot better than you at your thing than you are, bear in mind everybody started somewhere and you're just at your starting point. Give it time, give it effort, work hard at it, you'll get better. And the same goes with anything. And that's what I did anyway, and it worked for me. Number three, excuses. I think my natural state is that of quite a lazy person. I think that's made me overtly aware of how I act when I'm completing tasks that are my own responsibility to complete and to get done. I think everybody in their own way holds themselves to a high set of standards and accountability. I guess because nobody really wants to be known as useless. And sometimes you don't hold yourself as high as you maybe should. I know I'm guilty of that. And the excuses that I make to not do a thing, even though I might enjoy that very much, are just endless, and it ends up wasting a massive, massive chunk of time. And sometimes I feel as though you just need to stand up and tell yourself, just crack on. And for me anyway, that's sometimes the only way to get myself to do something that in the end I'll ultimately enjoy doing. Nobody's perfect. Nobody can hold themselves to their high personal standards of accountability 100% of the time. Sometimes you just slip. Hold yourself to a high degree of standards and accountability as much as you can, of course. I don't think that's ever going to be a bad thing. But if you do slip, remember that everybody does. And that's something that I learned pretty late on in life. So what is my thing then? I have no idea. I do a lot of things. I have a lot of side quests, as my friend puts it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I love my job. I've got a great career and I love what I do and I'm really fortunate for that. But it's not perfect and I don't think I'm going to be doing it forever. And I'm sure by this time next year, I'm going to be doing a whole new set of different things. But until then, I'll carry on with my side quests and even this new one. And hopefully I'll know the main mission when I see it.